Phoenix, he does have a Nielsen Holmes on. Do you know that?
I'll give Magic first pick. What do you want?
I take Weber.
So whoever's left over, I'll take him in the second slot. Coming out of that last timeout, Ahmad overheard Phil Jackson telling the Bulls they like the tempo, they feel they're in control as Michael Jordan tips it in, and he wanted Cartwright on the floor to stabilize this team both offensively and defensively. The experienced center will get them in their offense, allow them to run by setting screens, and get on the glass and help on the boards.
And a foul call. That's 3 on Scott Williams. A red-hot second quarter for the Bulls, who now lead by 14.
Well, here's Michael Jordan attacking the offensive board. See, Michael can hurt you in so many different ways. You always got to know where he is on the court and put a body on him when a shot goes up.
Scott Williams sitting down. Chicago 13 for 19 from the field. Phoenix only 5 of 16. Now Barkley operating against King. Got it back to Ainge. And the Suns finally hit a three-pointer. They missed their first 4. Bulls 57. The Suns 46 with a minute 50 to go in this first half. Jordan chased by Chambers and Marley. They continue the double up. Shot clock in 1. King gets inside.
Again, we're talking about team defense. See, you got to get a man rotate. You can let him pass it to the outside. Never let him pass it inside for a layup.
Inside is the heart of the defense. Don't take away the heart.
Bulls with a 13-point advantage. Barkley. Charles pulling his way and then going to the left hand. Charles Barkley's had a big first half, 20 points, but not getting the support. And Chicago leads by 11. Here's Pippen. Stolen by Johnson. Rare miscue by the Bulls. Emmett Johnson now guarded by Michael Jordan. Chambers to the scoop. Rebound Barkley. Oh, what a play by Charles Barkley. The Bulls by 9. 40 seconds to go in the half. 22 for Barkley. Jordan. Well, the Suns with a chance to knock that Chicago lead down further. Chicago led by as many as 14.
If you're wondering why we were talking about 4 or 5 passes for Chicago and then suddenly Jordan shoots a quick one, he was trying for a 2-for-1. Get one up, see if it goes in. No, he'll get the last one back.
And Barkley drew the foul.
Penetration by Chambers, gets it up on the glass, and then Charles just rips it from between 2 Bulls and converts as he's falling down. And then, again, to end a quarter, an opportunity for Phoenix to wind up with a 3-point play. They did it to end the first quarter. He has a chance now, Barkley, as he goes to the basket, to do it once again this quarter.
Well, see, they're doing something different here in game 2. You see Westbrook going to react to this play. They're getting finally penetration. They may not be getting it from KJ, but they're getting it from other guys, Phoenix Suns.
This the best sustained period of the half for the Suns. 7 straight points. And the Bulls now lead by 6. 10 seconds left of the half. Tucker did not want to take the shot. Gave it back to Jordan. Now Tucker, the 3. Well, Phoenix able to come back. Down by as many as 14. They have moved within 6 at the half. Michael Jordan, 9 for 15. He has 19. Charles Barkley, 10 of 14, 25 points. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report. And the guest list includes John Havlicek, Chris Webber, and Sean Bradley. A star-studded lineup. We'll be right back.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Halftime of Game 2 in Phoenix. Bulls leading the Suns 59-53. Phoenix on a 10-2 run to end the half, reducing a 14-point deficit down to 6. Barkley on fire with 25. Jordan with 19 in the superstar battle. We'll be talking with John Havlicek, Shawn Bradley, and Chris Webber in just a moment. Stone, thank you. Now the always somewhat awkward transition back to basketball. One gentleman who's taken a particular interest in this final series between Phoenix and Chicago is ex-Celtic great John Havlicek. Hondo was a member of the last NBA team to three-peat back in 1966. That team, of course, featured Bill Russell, among others, and they won 8 straight NBA titles from 59 to 66. Havlicek also played on the 76 Celtic team that beat the Suns in the finals. Hondo hit this runner at the end of the second OT in Game 5 before Gar Heard's famous shot sent things into a third overtime, but eventually the Celtics won that ball game and the series with it. And it's not too far-fetched to say, even though you won in 6, capping it back here in Phoenix, that the momentum would have been entirely different. If they could have beaten you in Game 5 on your home floor in a game like that, they might well have won here to take their first title.
If they had won that particular series, we would have lost here. I don't think that, because we were a team that had a lot of great pride. We knew that we were a better team, and we also felt that that particular game wasn't one of our best played games.
Regardless of whether it was well played technically from an X and O standpoint, have you ever been in a more exciting and exhausting game?
No, it was probably the most emotional game I'd ever been in, because it went 3 overtimes, and I can recall JoJo White sitting at half court during one of the overtimes. He played, I believe, 63 minutes. I played 58, and it was one of those games where you had the highs and lows. You were euphoric one moment, and you were the depths of despair the next.
Now, these Bulls are going after a three-peat. It's a different era in the NBA. It's fair to say that no team, even your Celtic team, could have won 8 straight in the modern era. But how do you compare these Bulls to the other great teams you were with or played against?
Well, the thing that I'm impressed with the Bulls is the fact that they play great defense. If you see Phoenix playing against them, they have to work for everything they get. They're picking them up all over the floor. And I know that to win championships, you have to play defense. Paul Westphal may have to change his whole lineup to get back into this series if they don't do anything tonight.
Westphal, a former teammate of yours and, of course, an opponent in that 76 final. He was a great player in those days for the Suns. Did you see him as a potential coach?
I always liked Paul Westphal as a player, and he's a very gamey individual, and he always had a lot of contests to play. So he's a thinking type player. I thought that he could become a good coach. I didn't know if he would go into this type of situation.
Let's get you to weigh in on the question they've been asking for the last couple of years. You played with so many great players and against West and Robertson and Wilt, and you've seen all the others who followed. Is Michael Jordan the best ever?
The best I ever played against was Oscar Robertson. If I had to put my fingers close together as possible, that's where Jerry West is. But Michael seems to be a different type of player. I've never seen anyone come to a jump shot or jump stop, split the defense. He just seems to find holes in the defense, and I've never seen anyone like him. I think he's the best.
Hondo, thanks. Great to see you. When we come back, we'll be joined by the 2 guys likely to go 1-2 in the NBA draft, Chris Webber and Shawn Bradley. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Well, the NBA draft is just under 3 weeks away. June 30th is the night, and the place is the Palace of Auburn Hills. That's pretty appropriate, considering that Detroit native Chris Webber is expected to be one of the top picks, if not the first pick, which of course is owned by Orlando. Also expected to go in the first few choices is Shawn Bradley, the 7'6" center out of Brigham Young. Chris is going to be with us by satellite. Shawn is here live in Phoenix. I can just see my mom watching this going, Bob, sit up straight. What good is it going to do? The guy is 2 feet taller than me. And then the question with you has been your weight. In the 2 years away from competitive play on the Mormon mission, how much weight have you been able to put on?
Well, when I played at BYU, I was playing about 200 pounds. Right now I weigh about 242, 245, right on this. So almost 40 pounds.
How much more would you like to pack on for the rigors of the NBA?
Well, I'm not too sure. I'd like to get with a trainer. I'm going to get with a trainer next week, and we'll decide exactly how much would be my optimum playing weight.
Bill Walton had an interesting observation, and he knows pivot play, obviously. obviously. He said he thinks it's a good thing that you were away from the game competitively for 2 years. Likens it to what David Robinson had to go through in naval service. He says it gives a kid a chance to mature, get his priorities straight other than basketball. Did it do that for you?
Absolutely. You know, the greatest thing that I did in my life so far was serve that mission and take 2 years out of basketball and devote myself to that kind of thing. I was able to figure out who I am and what I can do for the rest of my life. It also helped my metabolism slow down a little bit, so I was able to gain some weight. Hopefully now I can continue to gain a little bit more and become stronger.
Are you mean enough? It's a tough game.
I don't know. I grew up on a farm with a bunch of cattle, and they got to be the most stubborn animal in the world. But yeah, I don't play the game to lose. I want to go out there and do my best in any given situation.
We've heard a lot of talk about Golden State possibly maneuvering to move up. They've got the 3rd pick behind Orlando and Philly. Don Nelson has long coveted a center. You could be the guy. Have they contacted you?
Well, you know, many teams have been in contact with my agent and things like that. The draft is still, you know, in a couple of weeks, as we all know. I'll be excited to play wherever I can go. Of course, I do have my preferences, but you know, I'm just come back from Australia, and they said, you know, the draft is in a couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens there.
What's your preference?
Like I said, the draft is yet to happen. We'll see what happens there.
Will you work out for teams?
Excuse me?
Will you work out for teams, or do you feel your draft position is such you don't have to do that?
Well, right now, I think that for me to go and work out in the kind of shape that I am, it would not be able to show my true ability. So I'd like to take a couple weeks and hopefully get into shape and then maybe try out for some teams. We'll see what happens.
You know, consider this. If Philadelphia sitting at number 2 takes you, and if they keep Manute Bol on their roster, they'll have 15 feet of center.
That's a lot of center.
A couple of long, lean characters. Let's go to Detroit. Chris Webber is standing by. Chris, we caught a live shot of you during the first half. Looked like you were playing some sort of Nintendo game, some sort of video game, instead of watching the Suns and the Bulls. Are you into this final?
Well, I was playing a friend of mine in Sega in the Bulls Blazers, so I was having a little fun. I'm just here relaxing. I'll watch the second half and pay a lot of attention to it.
Do you expect to be a member of the Orlando Magic? Is that safe to say that that's what you're expecting?
You know, like Sean already alluded to, it's a long way before the draft. So, you know, you really don't want to get your hopes up for any team. Do I feel I should be the #1 pick? Yes, I do. I feel I'm the best player in the draft. But I think each player feels that. And with Sean and Jamal and Anthony, I think no team can make a wrong decision with the first pick. So I think all of us just have to wait and see what happens.
I understand you and Shaquille O'Neal are pretty tight. Have you spoken with him about coming to Orlando?
I talked to him lottery day and the time after that, and you know, he just congratulated me. And when I made my decision to come out, I asked him if I should come out, and he said yeah. So he just said, "I told you so," and you know, yeah, we're pretty good friends.
You may be the best player in the draft. You're used to being the best player on your team. If you go to Orlando, the spotlight won't fall first on you. Are you prepared to deal with that?
You know, players like to play, and put me in a position with 4 scrubs or 4 great players like Shaquille. I just want to fit in. I don't have to get the spotlight. He's a great player. He's a franchise player. Just let me come in and do some dirty work. Let me dive on the floor or something, you know, and just let me try to fit in somewhere in the NBA. I hope there's a place for me.
How tough is it to sit and wait and not know the fate at this point?
It's real tough, but then again, you can set goals and say, well, I have 25 days to work until draft day or whatever. So it gives you a good timetable. It's not that hard, but yeah, I'm really waiting for that moment.
Last question real quick. The Bulls are winning here. Are you winning the video game?
Oh, yeah, I already beat them. And Isaiah Thomas scored 35. And, my team beat Mike Jackson's team by about 50.
By
50.
All right, switch the channel over and enjoy the second half with us. Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, and our thanks to Sean Bradley as well. It's the Bulls over the Suns, 59-53, and we'll turn things over to Marv, Mike, and Magic for the call of the second half right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Coming up on 7:30 in the evening in the Valley of the Sun. Another beautiful day in Phoenix, Arizona. Marv Albert, Magic Johnson, Mike Fratello. The Bulls led by as many as 14. Look to be on the way to a blowout, but a good close by the Suns, and they have moved within 6. This after that hot shooting spurt by Chicago.
Actually, both teams are shooting the ball very well in the first half, up over 50% from the floor. Chicago with 6 more field goal attempts, and that comes because they have 4 more offensive rebounds and 2 fewer turnovers. But to me, one of the key things for Phoenix is already they have 10 points from the foul line here in the first half. They had 10 for the entire game number 1, so they get into the free throw line.
Well, and here the three-pointers, you know, Phoenix is only 1 for 5, but that one three-pointer triggered a 10-2 run by the Phoenix Suns to end the first half. And so that one three-pointer by Danny Ainge really sparked and rallied the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, Danny Ainge hitting that three-point shot leading to the 10-2 run. A look at today's Miller Genuine Draft halftime